Hello beautiful people, it feels so good to be back on the channel once again, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I was able to adapt my apartment into a photography studio so I can use it for photo session if I so choose to do so. And as for my 19 new subscribers, I feel so happy that you are joining me on this journey. Thank you very much for being part of this family, and surely we are going to have a very good story to tell in just a little while. From my last video, you may be able to recall that when I was trying to show you around my apartment, I was only able to do it using the very tiny portion of the screen to show you around, which is this red hand side of my screen. I wish to do it on a bigger screen, but that was the best I could do as of then, and thanks for enjoying the video regardless. And I wish to do it on a bigger screen, but not to worry, by the time we are opening a proper studio, definitely we are going to do it big. And I've always been a fan of the saying that use what you have to get what you want, and which is what we are still going to do in today's video. However, I'll try to do some modification. Instead of using the tiny screen, I try to use the landscape form so that we can have a better view of the apartment. So moving on to today's video, where I'm going to be showing you how I quickly rearrange my apartment in order for it to be fit to be used as a photography studio. I'm still learning and developing in my photography journey, so it's very essential that I have a place to practice, and I believe my apartment, which I've converted a little bit to a studio, is a perfect place to start the process. So just like my last video, I'll be showing you a preview that highlights how the apartment was quickly rearranged into a photography studio, and afterwards I'll be taking you a little bit in depth as to tell you exactly what was the thought process for this rearrangement. And I can assure you of something, you are going to enjoy today's video, because it's not just going to be about the quality of the video you are looking at, and it's not just going to be about showing you around my apartment, but it also features storytelling, and I think I'm pretty good at telling my own stories. So please enjoy the following preview, and I will get back into the video. Enjoy. That was a preview, and I hope you really enjoyed it. I also want to give a lot of kudos to my wife for doing such a wonderful job. I couldn't have done it without her, and trust me, whatever it is you saw me doing in that video, I was only acting. She did majority of the job. I know she doesn't really want to be out there, but it's difficult to keep her out of my affairs because this is my life now. I'm not a single person anymore, so whatever it is I'm doing, we are in it together, you know. Now, this is where I talk you through the process or the thoughts behind the arrangement. But before we get into that, genuinely, I'm interested in knowing exactly what you love the most about my videos. Is it the video quality? Is it the audio? Is it the B-rolls? What I mean by B-roll is this. You see this video you are looking at now? This is the main video. So any video I add on top of this one, be it the one I recorded myself or the ones that I downloaded, those ones are called B-rolls. Or is it the animations, the little pop-up that comes up on this side at times? Is it those ones? Please, I really want to know. It gives me a very good idea on what I'm doing good already, and it can give me a very good idea of what I need to improve on so I can move on to the next one. That being said, let's start from here. You see, this particular part of my apartment, this particular part where I've placed the black backdrop that you're looking at right now, That space has always driven me curious. Let's just say that I've always enjoyed the thought of doing something on the side, something different from the main thing which I'm usually focused on, like a side hustle, not necessarily something actively fetching money, just something to put on the side apart from the main thing I'm focused on. And I guess this particularly stemmed from when I was quite young. I remember a time where I was assisting my sister to stay at a shop. I was taught a lot of things, particularly about trading. I'm sure I'm going to find the picture, I'm going to put it on the screen, please don't laugh. Basic things such as you do not spend your main capital of your business for pleasure. I was quick to understand that, because that basically kills businesses. And also, never to be the last person to buy a new product, and don't even be the first person to jump on it. If you're the first person to jump on a new product, you run the risk of buying a quality that is not well tested, and then the consumers will not necessarily like it. And then if you are the last person to buy a new product, you probably will miss out on every heavy profit that may likely come from that product, because usually new products usually comes with a lot of profit. So I was quick to understand all those things. So at some point, situation made it necessary that the shop had to be splitted into half. My sister had to leave, and then she left me to manage the other part of the shop. It was just about 50% of the shop that was left. And guess what happened? The shop didn't just come back to its original size, but it also doubled the previous size it was before it was splitted into halves, so much that a second shop had to be joined to it so that we can have enough space to display the product. I feel so happy about such experience, and whenever I think of it, I just think of it as the good old days. I really missed my customers. Don't laugh at my apron, I'm going to find the picture. I enjoyed this experience so much that I even gave myself some certificate. Anyway, the summary of everything I'm trying to say is that I've always enjoyed the thought of doing something on the side, and even though I was studying, but I was able to manage the business, so that was really, really good. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten where this conversation is coming from. It's coming from the point I made earlier that I always enjoyed the thought of doing something on the side. Another thing I thought about when it comes to using that space was to use it as a small space for a virtual exercise studio. Yes, you heard me right, a virtual exercise studio. This particular thought started around the COVID-19 pandemic time. Let me explain. I suppose the COVID-19 season was a difficult season for the world at large, and sincerely, my heart goes out to everyone who suffered significant loss around that time. It wasn't particularly easy for me as well, I can acknowledge that. It was a really troubled time for me, especially at the initial stages. For me, it's not about being infected with the virus. I probably was infected many times, but I didn't remember showing any symptoms of it. But I'm pretty sure I was really exposed to the virus at that time. My troubles was more of the socio-economic aspect of things, but I managed to get through. And one major way I coped during that time, if you're trying to guess exercising, yes, you're correct. Working out was one way by which I coped. I wish to tell you the full details of everything that happened, but it's just going to take too much of the time. So probably something I'm going to put into another video, when I'm ready to recount my COVID-19 experience. You see, at that time, I had a job that now I would describe as being very terrible. I desperately needed to hold on to that job badly, because every organization, or most organizations, were retrenching. They were downsizing in terms of their manpower, and it was taking a toll on me, really. And the presiding officer then, I'll be happy if he's watching this video right now. The presiding officer there was very far from being a nice human being, to be honest. Honestly, I don't know that sometimes tears can be very, very hot on the skin. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that story. All I know was that then I always jog every morning, daily. I never skipped it. So jogging in the morning helps me to clear my head, and then in the evenings I do some weightlifting, and that often helps me to tire out in a very good way, so that I don't even have time to be hungry, and I'm too tired to be anxious as well. And I also did something. I always post my activities on my WhatsApp status, so as a way of communicating with the outside world. Some people will find it interesting, they are going to drop their comment, and then we start talking. So again, exercises was one of the major ways I coped. One significant thing that happened was one day, one of my friends, she was already out of the country, here in the UK. Then I was in Nigeria. She saw my WhatsApp status and then she reached out to me. She said, "Joseph, I would like us to work out together." She basically narrated that she has been trying, to work out in the gym, but it's not working. She lacks the motivation. But seeing someone who does it every day keeps her interested, and she wants us to schedule a time. So then, of course, Zoom was really popular. We arranged a time on Zoom, and then we started doing it. Tell me, what can be, sweeter than getting paid for doing something you really enjoy doing? In two ways. I was getting the physical benefit myself. I was getting in good shape, and then I'm getting paid at the same time. It was good money, trust me. I was able to send a few tokens to friends and family without even feeling it. I was really happy. But that is not the point. We were also able to achieve exactly what she needed, which was to cut a few pounds off. Trust me, even me, I almost didn't believe my eyes when I saw her after a few weeks of exercising together. And all of a sudden, it just occurred to me that, wait, I think this is actually meaningful. Connecting with people virtually, exercising, this can work. I don't know if she will have a picture of what she looked like before we started the exercise. I'll try and reach out to her anyway if she still have it and if she's happy for me to post it. But all I can tell you is that she really transformed, so much that others started getting interested. At least I had about 3 other people that were interested in joining the program, but my network was not even stable enough to have multiple people joining the Zoom link then. So it was really nice, and I felt like this really makes sense. I even did a jogging challenge then. This is something that I was doing to keep my own mental health going. I even designed a logo to that effect. I call it VWWJ, Virtual Workout with Joe. The logo looks like this. Anyway, let me not bore you with that story. Like I said earlier, when I'm ready to recount my COVID-19 experience, I'm going to put all these things in details and that experience. So when I got to this country, it just clicked in my head. I think this is something that I can do, especially because I've done it before and it was working out. So I feel like, why not try it again? I started the process by keeping fit myself. I registered to a gym. I was working out on my own. Most of my workouts is always on my own anyway. I only go to the gym just to have a few. So I got the exercise bike, but all I can tell you is that I had to stop at some point because I was experiencing so much pain. Pain is such a bad thing, and I just had to stop. I can't express how painful it is that I'm limited on the kind of exercises that I'm able to do. It just feels like maybe 50% of my manpower was taken away from me, but I believe this is going to be temporary, and I look forward to overcoming it very soon. So take it from me, in case you've been hearing it before, that exercise is one of those things you can use to cope with life stressors. Yes, it has worked for me in the past and it still does. So if you have troubled time, please consider exercising. It really works. First-hand information. I think that was good. Yes, there is a third idea that I thought of using that space for, and that is fashion related. I've always loved the idea of fashion, and that pretty much started from my childhood as well. My dad was a fashion designer, all fashion, so I've always wanted to do something in that line as well. And come to think of it, these days fashion business, I believe, can be easily promoted even using a very small space. All you need is to set up a very small space, design it, maybe something like this backdrop, but something that is more fitting in terms of fashionable backdrops and fashionable clothing racks. Put the display of the clothing there, set up a very good social media account, get models to advertise for you, or influencers if you can get your hands on some of them. And for me, what am I doing that I won't be able to advertise my own clothing myself? So I started that in Nigeria and it was working well. Yes, I also designed a logo for it as well, and the logo also looks like this. Or maybe I should display it to the entire screen. Maybe with me designing all this logo now, officially I'm also qualified to be a graphics designer. Anyway, I don't think that idea is totally off my table now. As a matter of fact, I think Joy Pixels if it grows up to the level at which I'm projecting in my head, I think it's going to find a way to unify all the ideas of the fashion business, the workout business as well, maybe. I look forward to seeing how that plays out. Yeah, enough of this space. Let's move to other place. There's so much you can discuss about an office space. So let's talk about other areas in the apartment. So next is going to be the kitchen and the dining area. I believe we touched on that on the last video very briefly, and also something that is very notable that you're going to see is the information board there. It has proven to be very, very useful. That is where I write information about some of these videos that I make. I'm able to keep track of things there. If I need to purchase anything, I write everything there. And then next to it is the sofa. As you can see, it's already halved, and that's the very good thing about the sofa I have. I'm able to split it into two, so they basically function now as my reception since I don't have a big office yet. So it definitely provides some comfort while I'm taking the shoot. If there's a second person, they're able to sit down. And then so next to it, you are going to see the TV again. The last time I spoke about it briefly, but I didn't demonstrate exactly how I was able to project the pictures onto them. So this is the TV. I usually use the TV in terms of displaying the pictures, and it does function very well so far. Then of course the Monstera plant is there, and important again is the clothing rack. That is directly in front of me here. So if I have them, bring multiple clothes into the studio, this is where I'm going to have the clothes to be hung, I believe. They call it heavy duty, but to be honest with you, I don't see anything that is heavy duty on this one. Then on turning into the corner where we started from, you're going to see my photography equipment there. I won't be talking about the photography equipment in details, simply because this video is not exactly to show you my studio. It is just to show you how I'm able to adapt my apartment into a photography studio. So maybe in another video I'm going to talk in details about the studio itself, in terms of what I have, the kind of lights I have, what I use them for. Anyway, I think that's another video to look forward to. And if you look at some of my equipment there, you probably see some of them that are still in their carton. Yeah, there are some things I've just gotten that I'm yet to unbox, such as a C-stand. I have a strip box now, and I'm also expecting my strobe lights to be delivered from AliExpress. I don't know why they don't want to give me my strobe. And if I'm to use this place as a studio to take pictures, it is better when I use the full length of the studio itself. So that often looks like this. All I need to do is just to take the backdrop and position it at the center, and then I just spread the excess to the floor. I tape it down, and then I have enough space to position myself and shoot the pictures. I've never used the opposite side, which is the white side of the wall, and that's because I know using white as a background can be quite tricky, because if you don't control the light properly, what you're going to have is just shadow everywhere. I think that is going to be it for today's video. I'm not sure if I've missed anything that I'm supposed to mention, but thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. I have a couple of ideas of what to touch on in my next video, but I need you to assist me. I had a wedding experience, the very first wedding I went for. If you think that is something you want to hear about, I'll be more than happy to share that story. I also went for a graduation. Actually, the graduation comes first. My experience with the graduation wasn't as much as when I went for the wedding. Please let me know if you would like to hear any of the stories. If it's the graduation story or the wedding story, let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to share these experiences in the comment section. I hope I didn't forget to smile in some of these videos. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like my content. This is a journey, and we are definitely getting somewhere. And most especially, I would like to see your comments in the comment section. Your comment has been very encouraging, and I look forward to reading them. Until next one, bye. I hope I didn't rush this video. Anyway, it's not easy. It feels rushed, I don't know. Just like my last video, I'll be showing you an highlight. These raindrops is distracting me, God. So just like my last video, I'll be showing So one day, one of my friends, she was in the UK. She's in the UK, Abby. What did that rule? Really transformed. Our transformation was so obvious and appreciable I'm not sure. Let me check. Childhood. How do they call these things? Alright, this is a testing video for the light, for the mics, for the color, for the brightness, for everything really. Maybe for the smiles as well. Just to see how everything goes before we go on straight into today's videos. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it already.